moment.
Oh, starting with the impact. What's up, everybody?
Hey. Let's go.
Another beautiful Tuesday
Ah, beautiful.
here in Colorado.
Ladies
The
and gentlemen,
400 boys.
Whoa.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back
Thank you.
to the Producer's Lounge, brought to you by Always 400. This is, of course, our show where we're going to sit here and rattle off misinformation about music production.
Let's go.
All misinformation this episode.
I don't know what we know.
You know? And, folks, today we have a very special guest for episode 101. We have Slomato. Oh, shit. Or Slomato.
Welcome, buddy.
Tomato,
Tomato.
Tomato,
Right.
tomato.
Precisely.
Hello,
right.
hello. The sitcom.
I will not just do that the whole time.
You should,
But I
though.
kind
The
of will.
only-
For some
kinda will.
episode, it's
Just
just
a
a
little
sitcom the whole time. Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Thank you for having me, by the way. Seriously.
Yeah,
Of course,
course.
Thank
yeah,
you.
dude.
This is awesome.
Welcome to the show.
New experience.
Yeah.
Always love a new experience,
Hell yeah.
even if I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's a very simple thing that's happening. We are just diving in deep to the secrets of audio production.
Correct.
That's what we do the whole time.
Oh man, there's
We talk some shit too, but like mostly that's the goal.
mostly
is
just
to,
the rabbit hole
yeah.
that we all love and have near dear somewhere. in our brain.
Exactly. Like
Exactly.
make the people at the top scared for their jobs. Ooh, you know?
Beautiful. Activate.
Or-
You know what I'm saying?
Or they're like, wow, that guy has no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
One or the other, right?
I mean, they'd be wrong, obviously.
Also, pull that mic up just a little bit.
Oh,
We have a very clear
Yeah, get
idea
a
what
nice
we're
Yeah.
doing.
snug.
Keep it nice on your face.
ooh.
Yeah,
Either
you
or,
want
though.
you want to be close.
Either or, though, I thoroughly enjoy making music. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the one coping mechanism that I've had through my entire life that has always been there, which is always
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you definitely make good music.
That's for
I
sure.
try.
This is a
Yeah, you're fucking slaying it, homie.
this
You got
is
into
true.
music at a younger age. Did you start like playing instruments super young, or just like listening to
So-
shit?
So, I had a very bad OCD and ADD as a kid growing up. And so, because of that, my mom, trying her best, being like, all right, you need to do stuff. Like, I'm going to force you to do stuff. And I would not want to do anything. But she'd be like, okay, well, you're going to play
She's trying to
clarinet.
find something.
Yeah, she's trying
Yeah.
to pick the brain. So I played clarinet as a kid for like 2 years. And then I had a stepdad in my life who he played drums. And I used to like kind of fuck around with the drums he had too. And he still has that drum kit.
Let's
and,
go.
And I'm trying to figure out a way to take it from him without being like, hey, you should just give that to me. And he's like, but that's mine. But I'm trying to convince him, be like, hey.
Hey, hook it up, man.
I like-
Give me this kit.
He's like, I was in a band. I'm like,
I'm gonna use it.
like, can I use it, please?
I got some microphones. I'm gonna sample that shit.
And then I had a buddy growing up. So I'm also from Colorado.
Let's
I grew up-
go.
Shouts.
So I'm from
Hey.
Colorado. Native,
Unicorn over here. Let's
Wow.
go.
We're the only two.
26 years, born and raised.
Fucking low
Beautiful.
oxygen.
Nice.
Yeah.
It does things to you.
I've noticed.
What?
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 I don't.
What, dude? Wow.
What it?
Wow, dude.
So, low oxygen. Go on.
Yes. So I was born in Denver, and then due to a very complex family and decisions made by people, I was kind of thrown around a lot in Denver. And then ultimately, I ended up in a place called Evergreen, which is in the mountains.
Yep.
And I spent
Evergreen's the best, dude.
spent 13. Kind of. It depends. I don't know.
Right.
I would say it's a beautiful place.
Yeah. You know when it's great? It's when you're just like rich as fuck.
Yeah.
And you've already made your way
Right.
in life. And you just want to
Then it's
stare
pretty
at
good,
the
yeah.
hills
Dude.
while you kind of like manage your like funds and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Living in Evergreen is a weird, for me
Yeah.
at least. I say it's complicated because like it's a crazy cool place, but if you have like no money, it's like in Evergreen, people either live in like log cabins or like small houses, or it's fucking mansions. It's like there's no in between. And if you live in a log cabin, you usually live like in a dark part of like a big ass mountain.
Right.
And it's like in a gulch or something. Like I grew up in
Sure.
a gulch.
Fuck yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I like that.
and there's no
I like
light.
that. That builds character.
it
There's-
does.
There's no night light or like street lamps in Evergreen. So like
Good.
at nighttime, just pitch black.
So
Oh,
dark.
beautiful.
Dark as fuck.
That's sick. That's
This
kind of
is
sick.
this is some shit we'll have to talk about over
Um,
a cigarette.
Ooh. Yes.
speaking of dark nights, what are your
Batman?
Nope.
That's right. That is.
I-
Dark
I-
Knight. I was like, how are you?
I know
gonna
that's what you think, but
music Batman and
wait
mountains?
for this segue.
Okay, shit.
Dude, it's
okay,
beautiful.
Okay. Wait. It started over.
Okay,
Cool.
speaking of dark nights,
Oh.
what are your opinion on bongo drops?
Bongo. Define bongo drop.
The
Dude.
main element, the main
Yeah.
lead sound in
Or as we
this
would
drop,
say, cool guy.
or
Cool
the
guy.
cool guy in that moment, like the part that's playing the lead.
Oh, you're talking
know?
about like the main.
Yeah,
The main
is
guy.
a bongo.
AKA
The main
that
thing.
one Skrillex tune.
Yeah.
Again with a.
Again
Like,
with
You know
a,
Again with
Yeah.
a with Skrillex and Abstract.
he does a
Not
No.
that song.
He also does it on his new album Xena. Did you hear that one?
yeah, he does like some.
I'll be
crazy-
honest.
like that.
I haven't. He dropped 2 albums, and then everyone's been releasing an album, and
Sure.
I can't keep up, man.
Yeah, no.
It's a lot. It's a
And,
lot,
like,
right?
Lately,
It's fair.
the last 3 months of music have been fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where I'm like, every day on my phone, I'm like, oh my god.
This is some post-COVID
Like,
shit. Is
some-
what we're
like-
dealing with.
like-
Yeah,
People
yeah.
actually
Like-
grinded on during COVID,
Yeah,
and then
like
they
shit,
took time to figure
like
it out.
holy fuck, because
Yeah.
Skrillex dropped 2 albums back to back.
Yeah, just fucking sent him.
Like I didn't even know he dropped a second album. I saw the first one, and I was like, oh, I need to listen to that. And then everyone's like, going up on Twitter, being like, yo, there's a second album. And I was like,
round
holy.
2. Here we
And
go.
I was like, holy fuck. And then yeah, just
It's like past halfway. Yeah. Oh, right there. Yeah. Listen to this shit.
so now are we talking bongo drop as a lead or actual bongo drops?
Either, both.
Either way, just bongos are the main thing.
Or what
Yeah.
is an
What is it?
actual bongo drop?
What do you mean?
He said bongos as a lead or an actual bongo drop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
what-
that sound like an actual bongo drop. Because that's the lead is a bongo line.
Okay, yes.
Right,
This
right.
is what we're talking
Right?
about.
Yeah. This is
Yeah,
what I'm talking
exactly.
about. What do you feel
Yeah,
about?
how do you
bongo
feel
drops?
about it?
Yeah.
I would say
And what would you? How would you incorporate bongos? in
Caleb, I just want to say, great question. What
Thank you.
what a fucking profound question. Go on.
I would say that
Wagwan, bro.
in my opinion, I would use bongos differently, but at the same time, like
Okay.
comparing to someone like Skrillex or in the process of that, like I feel like it's kind of all up to the listener and to like the person who wants to make that drop. Like if
You
want,
are the listener in this
like-
question.
Yeah, you are.
As-
So how would
You are the listener in
incorporate
this
it?
question.
How would you incorporate your bongos? If somebody held a gun to your head and was like, "Make me a bongo drop," like you would, and you're
Tom,
like,
Oh.
Tom fill drop. I love using bongos as fills.
"Beautiful,
Bongos
beautiful."
as
I like
fills.
this answer.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything with
Yeah.
that kind of timbre, I'm just a sucker
Yeah.
for fills.
Right.
Honestly,
And I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I'm only a fan of sustained drum rhythms, but I'm not a fan of sustained percussions. Even though there's a lot of music that I like sustained percussion rhythms, where it's like old
Totally.
school, like a
Sure, I get you.
I'd say like a form of sustained percussion where there's no break, like an old school rhythm, like Nancy Bomb Bomb song. I was just listening to that song on
Right.
the way here, and that's like a sustained.
Yeah.
Like the whole lead of that is just a light drum and percussion, and her voice, like that's sick. And there's instances of bongos in that too with Tom Fills.
Hell
Kinda
yeah.
Cool. So in that case, that's like more my forte, what I would enjoy. Whereas it's something like that in an electronic case where it's to me, if I don't know, it's feels like a lot.
That's fair.
Okay,
It's definitely
sick.
busy.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
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 That's a good answer.
But I never want. But like that, one of my big philosophies about music, I'll probably slip on this later. But like, I truly don't believe in like bad or like good music. I believe in really well made music, like or
fuck yes.
I don't know how to explain it. Like
You can't slip on that shit, dude.
No,
Yeah,
you can't
like,
slip
yeah.
on that.
You can't.
Like,
That's
there-
my thing
100%
too.
that.
there-
I like shit that sounds good.
like
Right.
like, and that's like something I've grown to appreciate learning instruments. Like, yeah, everyone always makes a stereotype like you don't like country or you don't like this or like that meme where like they're like, oh, you like music? And you're like, oh, well, put on, insert blank obscure artist. And they're like, oh, I don't listen to that. I genuinely find any genre that you dig into, I feel like I don't know, I feel like all genres are like, at surface level, they are terrible. Like, no matter what genre you dive into, like, very surface level of it sucks. And that's all of it. Like, pop. Really surface level rock is pretty bad. Like, I feel like across the board, surface level, all that stuff is bad. But if you just dig a little deeper on all of them, doesn't even matter what genre it is, if you have the appreciation for it, you're going to find something cool. Oh, yeah. Like 100% times not. Whether it be weird alternative indie or techno or whatever it just goes.
Yeah,
polka.
I was just gonna say polka music.
You probably could find some crazy fucking
Celtic.
Ooh.
There's probably some heaters
just
out there.
insane 9/8 Celtic beat to march your military to.
Exactly.
I can't say you're wrong.
Dude, yeah, that's the fucking
Caleb
truth,
loves the
though.
Celtic.
I'm not gonna lie, like, if you were in war and you heard like the drummer boy going, wouldn't you ever be like, shit's getting real? Because you hear the fucking drum.
I'm gonna do a dive roll into
amped.
like fucking prone.
Like, you wouldn't get
and I'm
amped.
gonna cap a couple people in their head right there. Headshot.
Like, I don't want to condone that
And then
war
I'm
is
fucking-
cool at all, but I'm saying, like, in this instance, if you heard a drum, wouldn't you be ready to just like fuck
Hell
some
yeah,
shit
dude.
up? Like, I don't know.
Hell yeah, I'm jiggling, man. I'm fucking out there. I'm fucking
Yeah,
jiggling
jiggle
the
peeking.
fuck out of 'em, dude.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
I have a question for you guys. How long have you guys been doing music stuff or dabbling in music stuff?
I think they just hit 4 months, if I believe,
Yeah.
right?
Only like seriously like in the last like 2 months.
Really?
I've been like really grinding.
Dude, you're really talented for 2 months in.
Thanks, dude.
Damn, killing it.
It's splice loops.
Damn.
No,
It's all AI.
I mean,
it's all AI.
It's all AI,
It's
yeah.
all
It's all
AI.
AI, dude.
yeah. Personally, I've been.
Follow the chat
I started
GPT tutorial.
Yeah.
I started playing piano because I had to do that to learn the saxophone.
Nice.
So I did piano for like 2 years when I was really young, and then I started playing saxophone in like 4th grade.
My closest friend in my life that I've like closer to anyone, he has played saxophone like his entire life.
Nice.
And so like
It's what's up, dude.
So that's cool.
And played that all the way up through high school and taught myself drums and guitar in high school. And then downloaded Ableton when I was like 22 and was terrified. I was like, look at all these
Yeah, what
knobs.
is this?
Like, what the fuck, dude? I'm going to go back and just go do absolute dog shit with some friends, you know? And
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great time. And then it wasn't until I was like 26 that I tried it again. And I was like, oh shit. I
You're
figured
like,
this out.
"God damn."
Actually,
So-
I had a buddy
so-
show me FL.
Some things were like,
Yeah. And that was 8 years ago. So
wow. Okay.
it's been
So-
been an 8-year grind now, basically.
I'm like, that's like right around. Let's see.
That was like late 14, early 15.
Caleb and I have been like producing electronic beats for about the same amount of time.
Right.
Okay.
And then we both had like different instrumental
Different
things
checkered
throughout our
pasts. Yeah.
and
bands and things.
Yeah, bands and all that shit. I
all
played
different
drums all growing up.
It's all different
played
rhythms,
all the
man.
other fucking
Mhm.
instruments.
Right.
And then and I did a bunch of recording when I was young too, like bands and shit.
Nice.
You know, grew up in church. We had a studio that was like a dedicated church studio.
Praise him above. Hallelujah.
Clearly vocalists up in here.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, so did fucking plenty of the like performance almost exercises growing up.
Right.
You know,
Bunch of those.
in church services in front of people, blah, blah,
Marching
blah, blah, blah.
bands, fucking jazz band,
regular
concerts.
bands with my
Yeah.
friends,
Those
all
kind
the
of bands.
fucking
The polka
things.
band.
All
Can't
the
forget
shit,
about that.
Just everything.
Yeah, DJing is like
It kind of came all after
it's such a nothing thing
DJ
to
is
do
kind of a
in
nothing thing to
comparison
do.
to like being in
Actually
an
playing.
actual band.
Yeah, like being in a band
and
is-
having to nail fucking
But-
every note on beat
And-
as
terrifying.
you're
and
fucking
key.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the reward is better.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when you nail it with a band, the dopamine high is 10x
Oh,
what you
yeah.
get when you nail a transition while you're DJing.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Like it's
can't even imagine.
It's
You
about
just-
the energy,
you
my
just
dude.
come in your pants.
It's actually just about the
instant
energy.
come.
Instant energy come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin knows about this shit. The fucking
The energy
you
coming?
when you are energy coming with your fellow bandmates,
With your bros.
with your bros,
dude.
when your energy coming with,
With
your
your
bros,
bros.
With your bros, dude.
little
then you definitely will have like a really serious energy boost because there's like you're multiplying the energies by the amount of bros that you're
Plus,
energizing.
when
You
you
basically just have a Kundalini awakening on the
And,
spot.
that,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
in the audience is also energy kuma.
yeah,
yeah.
yes, yeah.
Giant.
Well, that's
fucking-
why. That's why you got to
That's what
bring
it's all
your
about.
fucking show
That's why we don't.
condom.
That's why no one wants
know?
to work.
yeah,
You got to always
Yeah.
be wearing your show condom.
wear your raincoat, folks.
Yes.
Nobody wants your
Yeah.
fucking energy come on them. They just
The
want to know
energy
that
orgy.
you are energy coming.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's it.
I love energy coming.
Energy coming, dude.
For the record.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a track called
I
that
think we
now.
need a track called Energy Come.
energy come.
Energy Coming.
Energy coming.
Or Energy
It is
Orgy.
coming.
It's just a side trance tune.
Coming.
Energy.
Energy.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Side
that's
trance beat.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it's beautiful. Sounds great.
Bet.
Yeah, bet.
bad,
Make that tonight.
bro.
We'll make
What?
that tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hop on the computer right after this. So
Get this idea out real quick.
We're just gonna make it right now, live on the pod, folks. No, just
cue up the
No, we're not gonna do
most
that.
viral fucking clip we've ever had from
kidding. right.
our podcast.
Imagine.
Ooh,
It just goes ham on
possibly.
TikTok.
Energy come.
The energy come.
Yeah, have as much as you
clip.
want.
Which one is that?
It's pineapple mango, I think. It's a freshie. Got
But
it
it's
like 2 days ago.
it's not the ice.
It's
not
lost
the
Mary.
ice.
Mary
Can I-
is lost.
Can I?
Mary's left.
Where is
Also,
she?
Look at how lumpy the vape is.
I know. I
It's
like
so
these ones. They're
it's
fun.
so much fun.
Vaping lumpy space princess.
Oh my lumps.
It still is
green
mentally.
shell.
I'm not into it. I will die.
It's still mentally.
So I think I
like that.
started producing when I was 19 and I'm
Fuck that.
25 now. About to turn 26.
Nice. I just turned 26.
Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
My man, yeah.
Nice.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Literally, I started producing at your guys' age.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Think,
I start-
think about how wild that is.
What age?
Yeah.
I started producing.
26.
I started
26.
producing when I
Me
was
too.
14.
Right.
14. Holy
That's
shit.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
cool.
I wish I
Do you,
did.
do you guys know?
I technically did.
Right. You were in
I was
a
in
DAW.
Acid Pro, dude.
You were in a DAW.
Yeah, I was in Sony
do you
Acid
guys?
Pro.
Do you guys? Sorry, Austin. I want to come back.
No,
to
send it. That's
I
I'm
don't,
good.
but
Yeah,
Wow.
it's gay. Anyway,
I'm just kidding. I'm Josh.
you dude. This guy
I got the
over
whole
here.
audience against me, dude. Luckily, I thrive.
Yeah, go ahead.
this is where I thrive.
It's actually funny how I got into electronic music. I knew a kid growing up. His name is Thean, which crazy name. He's a ginger kid, but he has like Hawaiian
I'm
parents.
judging.
Yeah, no, he's a character. I
A
love him.
Hawaiian
Beautiful.
ginger.
If he
Beautiful.
watches this,
Love
I love
that.
you, dude.
Thean.
Shout
Such
out
a good
Thean.
name.
Shout out Thean. Anyway, I was like kind of a misfit in high school, and so was he. And he'd always sit at this table at cafeteria by himself. And one day I just went and sat with him.
Good decision.
But then the first thing he ever, I knew him prior to that. But then the first thing that ever came out of his mouth was, "Dude, do you watch YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Do you know what UKF and like Monster Cat is?"
Oh no shit.
and I was like, "What?" And like all day,
what
every
year was this?
this is like 2011.
Wow.
2000, no, like 2000.
11.
No, actually 2010 or 2011.
Damn.
So long
Cool.
fucking.
I
like,
remember that year.
I remember when
very
SoundCloud
specifically.
came out. Like I made it. That
Yeah,
like
me too.
me and him discovered SoundCloud during
go.
that because we kept getting tired of using YouTube. And then some older kids in high school that were like into Pretty Lights and all the shit that
Yeah,
I didn't know about.
yeah.
They were like, "Yo, download SoundCloud."
Wait, what high school did you go to?
I went to Evergreen High School.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Did you download SoundCloud back then?
Actually, no. It was.
It was just a website still.
Well, I had
Okay.
an iPod Touch, and they had an app.
you could
yes.
So
download.
iPod. So that was like when apps.
Yeah.
Like that was when apps became like more useful, not just like, oh, here's the chugging beer fucking app.
Right. There's an app for everything.
Or like the.
I'm sure I remember that.
You remember when like the iPod Touch had a flashlight app and there
Yeah.
was no flashlight?
Yeah.
The screen would turn white, and that's how.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I
yeah.
remember.
Like that shit was, yeah. But
Useful,
but we're in those.
actually.
We're in those days of technology of smartphones.
Yeah.
Not even smartphones.
Good
I-
times.
Yeah, and down SoundCloud, that's how we found the deeper cuts, and I got
Let's
into
go.
Oh yeah.
And Pandora. Pandora actually put me on a bunch of crazy shit too.
Pandora in the early day was heat, and then
Dude, that's
it
how
plateaued real quick.
Which I don't want to say it, but that's how I found like Bass Nectar. But then
Sure.
I found like Kill the Noise, Excision. I found Kill Paris. Bunch of fucking artists on that, which actually kind of crazy to think about. That a lot of that music I discovered. I feel like I discovered Bro Step through Pandora, and SoundCloud's where and SoundCloud's where I accentuated it into the dubstep, and then I discovered Submission. I discovered Submission in like 2012, 2013, which is nuts. Zed's Dead played a Submission show at Cervantes and the other side in 2012, and I snuck out of my parents' house to go to that show by myself with Thean and like his, who is now like I bet is gonna be his wife at some point, but like she had a friend in the scene and he took all of us and we had like fake IDs and we went in there and shit. And that was fucking
That's
wild.
amazing.
Fucking
It's
wild.
amazing.
Submission.
What a nice pure way to get into it at that young age too, where everything's still like super
Yeah.
fresh.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm trying to
We're
remember.
relatively
It was
young.
either Zed's Dead or it was G Jones. I can't remember. There was some like ridiculous show that was in the other side that now
I
they're all-
mean,
yeah.
Slomato. You know?
Yeah.
Tomato. My memory is bad.
Memory
that's
is
how it
bad.
goes.
That's a fact.
Oh,
Do you guys want to have another one?
Another
what?
one.
Another quick.
DJ Khaled.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Another
We don't even need
topic.
it to be quick. Go for a topic.
You want another topic out of the handbag?
Yeah,
Sure, send it.
Yeah.
let's send it.
I think I was about to say we need to get into some
Ooh, I know.
actual audio production shit because
I'm ready.
Fucking point,
Let's do it.
Ask
Let's
away.
do it.
Ask whatever you want.
All right. Caleb's on it. He's got a paper there.
Yeah, he's got the notes. Look, this man's fucking prepared. Holy shit.
Yeah. Dude, it's a
They're
professional
mostly
show,
filled,
bro.
It's fine.
It's professional.
Yeah, those are all
Sorry, I keep
filled.
ripping this vape.
No, send it,
I
dude.
am truly a fiend, and anyone watching this and knows me, they're already like, "Wow, it took him 5 seconds."
I busted out. You're like, yo, what's up? Yeah, fuck it.
He's
Let's share it for the pod.
I'm
like, I
on
don't care.
this.
Thank you.
Do you guys want one related to the last one slightly?
Sure.
Or just a new general topic?
Let's go new. I want new.
Simple music is good.
Yes,
Mm.
100% yes.
Go on. How do we keep it simple, folks? How do we?
What about
By-
the simplicity?
So, the answer to this is, and
go
everyone can attest to this. There is some really top-notch, very
Testicles.
highly intricate music out there, right? But you
Mr. Bill?
can't. But yes, and plenty of other to name. I can't even.
Sure. There's thousands, but he's
But
the one
there's
I like to make
also
fun of.
quite a few tunes out there that are very simple on a sound design level and arrangement level, and just like I feel like it's placement. Like if you find the right cohesive sound
Sure.
arrangement and put it into something minimal, it's gonna sound fucking phenomenal. Like for example, one of my favorite artists is Mac DeMarco.
Oh,
That-
nice. Okay.
That dude, all of his music is so fucking minimal. Like
Yeah.
he uses a linen drum kit that's super basic. He sings and then maybe hires someone to play bass. If not, he plays it himself, and it's usually like 3 notes, four,
Right.
but always usually in like one scale or another.
Sure.
And then does like a really tasty guitar lick.
Yep.
That's most of his music, and it slaps really hard.
It's called sauce.
Yeah, and just like the way he puts it together is really good,
Right.
in my biased opinion. But I would also argue that there's other people that do it too. Like forms of drum and bass are also pretty minimal.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys fuck with Mefjis?
Yeah.
Mefjis is crazy.
Yeah.
Some of his tunes are, like he has one song that's literally just drum kick, some snare hits, and some hi hat, and then just a fucking nasty bass line.
One
Yeah.
bass
Yeah.
And
sound.
that's it. And that's
Do you
it.
like
and, it's, and
bass?
it's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't understand. And then
Yeah.
I'll listen to like Tipper and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. But that one song just floored me. Like,
Yeah.
makes no sense. You know? So,
Yeah. There's a bunch of guys out there that are just the simple destroyers.
Yeah.
Right.
The most famous ones.
so,
Boys noise.
so honestly,
Super fucking simple shit.
I have to touch on this before we continue.
Please touch me.
I have,
Touch on it.
we can hold hands.
Please hold my hand for this.
Ooh.
I'm so nervous.
It's his first time. Go easy on him.
Energy coming.
Oh,
That was beautiful.
man. It's a good thing I brought my
Go.
whatever.
Sorry, energy coom's too hard. I'm trying to remember
My
what I was
energy
talking
condom.
about.
Cheat condom.
I'm trying to reel it back now.
No,
Simplicity.
that's fair. Been there.
Done that. Just
Simple music.
Simple
yes,
music.
Where are we going?
Folks,
We were
listening
just
at
talking about
home,
Matthews.
Uh,
I don't know.
Well, I can say this. Also, simple fan.
Yeah.
What about yourself? You going
Yeah, we'll keep
simple?
a train going.
Simple
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
I have to completely disagree. The more notes you can clog into 4 bars,
Yeah.
obviously the better.
Yeah.
You know, like black MIDI type shit where you just can't even hear what's happening.
Okay.
It's like a
Black
trillion notes in a
MIDI?
4-bar loop. Like,
Or any Polyphia song in existence too.
I don't know Polyphia. They're
Really?
fucking just
Polyphia
insane
has
like
some
that.
pretty
Really?
sick shit though.
So-
I can like some licks.
I wouldn't say they're like my go-to band.
No, definitely not.
But because they're like
Definitely not.
they're too hybridized for my taste.
Yes.
But at a musical level, ungodly. Like
Yeah, they're
S tier instrumentalists.
Yeah.
Let's
like
go.
they're like
It's the same
like Tim
thing with
Henson on lead guitar. Like dude will cram in. I don't even understand. Like
This sounds
What
like
are
a
you doing that
nightmare.
fast?
to
4
me.
bars doesn't even make sense when he plays guitar.
It's
Like,
a very similar. It's like the same vein as like math rock and
Right,
shit.
Math
where
rock,
it's
yeah.
like for
It's
the
like-
sake of.
Just for
being
the sake of doing it,
It's
yeah.
for the heads. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
for the heads.
Yeah,
You know.
it's like
Yeah, no,
that
but
type mentality.
realistically, of course, yeah, I'm definitely on the minimal train. It was a hard one for me to learn though, for sure, because for whatever reason, I always had a tendency to like just stack layers and stack like effects and transition pieces and like as
Yeah.
much as I could for so long.
So
But
it's funny. I can't remember his name, but he has like a series of seminars on SoundCloud. I'll pull them up so we can link people in the audience because they're really they help.
We're not gonna link it.
Anyway,
you could
or maybe.
you could write it
Or maybe.
down. And
I don't even remember.
I'll fucking
Text
link
it.
it.
but anyway, he has a huge discussion on like limiting compression and in like music thesis when you're creating, and it's a lot of like I've had this dilemma where like when is the line of subjective is just a form of itself or it's just bad.
Yeah.
And that's a big dilemma that I've
Yeah.
been having recently with music and the scene and a lot of things in general.
Mm.
But also that being said, coming back to what I was saying about him,
Why would you think it about the scene?
Oh my god, the scene's
It
amazing.
doesn't make any sense at all. The
what are
scene
you talking
is
about?
like perfect.
It's just-
Everybody's so good.
I just need to just keep networking me.
yeah.
It's all whatever.
Yeah, there's like a certain level
Networking.
though where you got to be real with yourself and just get your ego out of the
Well,
way
yeah, that
and just
too.
be like, what am I like?
You got to be honest as fuck.
You got to be so honest with yourself and be like, what is really happening with my music? Like, how do I progress as an artist and get better with this? Like, do I need to do more? Do I need to do less? Typically,
like,
the answer
yeah.
is the second one, more than likely.
But that guy also, sorry, just before I finish my tangent, 'cause
Yeah,
I go on
sen-
tangents a lot. He always talks about limiting compression and that you only do as much as you feel. So like if you feel that it's going to be intricate and complicated and that's your forte, then like by all means. But at the same time, if you're going for this approach, then it's only as much as you can do with that, what you're trying to do. So like, so I feel like that ties into
As far as being simple.
Totally.
yeah,
'cause-
or highly intricate. I feel like it's
Right,
as
right,
much
right,
as
right.
you need it to be.
Yeah.
Because from an artist
Totally.
perspective, like when is enough? You know, does anyone ever feel like they truly finish a project, whether it's highly intricate
No.
or minimal?
No.
Exactly. So like, it's
Not
as much as
really.
it's as much as it needs to be.
Right.
You know, and some people either nail the minimalist approach or they don't.
Right, right. And I would encourage everyone out there to just try and play with whatever the opposite of what you do is, just
Right,
for the sake of
right,
it. Just
just for the
experiment and work your brain in a different way and see if you can learn anything from that opposite, you know? All
Right.
the maximalists out there, try and just have one sound be your main sound for the whole thing. And all the minimalists, like, try and just have, like, one moment that's a little bit more of, like, a...
Or just make a
or
bunch of ear
something.
candy.
Or just make a bunch of ear
'Cause
candy, yeah.
that'll make it a lot more intricate real quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Start
you
adding
take
ear candy.
I'm into the practice of being minimal because you spend more energy on the minor details of things and less energy on like, well, is it like like have I like
I want this
built up like these chords into it? Like
You're
I'm
like,
not
I want-
interested.
You're like, I want this one measure to fucking have 10 effects happening, and then it's gonna go all into blah blah blah, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
no,
like,
none of that.
Or I'm like,
Or all of
let
it.
me pay attention to the pitch of every single track that I have throughout the time of the track, so all the pitches are doing weird shit, and like I want to make sure that like my reverbs have extra fucking work built into them so that they like sing really nicely through the open space that I've created by not having a bunch of shit there. You know, like paying attention to like the little teeny details rather than
Also,
like these like big overarching details or something.
Right,
When
exactly.
you get complex, it's kind of weird that way.
I would also argue to understand a minimal approach and intricate approach that you need to know the fundamentals. And that's like a big thing that I learned why I don't collab that often with a lot of people is a lot of people ask to collab, but then they don't know like really fundamental shit, you know, like like what a harmonic is, or like you know, like a downbeat, or like things like that, where it's like you need to understand those. I feel like at least basic things.
I thought you were going to say something slightly more complicated than that.
Like we
But you didn't.
we just fucking flew into the Apex arena and they're just like running at somebody without shooting at them.
right.
And you're like, hey, you're supposed to hide and like shoot people.
Or they're
You're
about to
supposed to stay
play
alive.
like back to back at like a fucking festival, and they're like,
Plug in there.
"All right, where do I plug in my fucking?"
Where's
I've got my iPod here. So
Yeah. Where do I fucking? You're like,
guys, I don't know where I'm at, but I rolled up with a stick of gum and I have a VIP bracelet. What's good?
"Wait, right,
This
like,
connects to Spotify,
Hey,
right? I
do
can
you,
just
do you
hit
guys
a
have some
playlist.
pretty cool tunes on your USBs? We'll just play that.
Can
right?
I just use yours?
Can I just play your tunes?
which
That
one's the
works.
Q?
Bro, so
I'm used to Serato.
You know what the Q is?
bro, you're
good.
mixing it like 100 BPM. I'm gonna go to 280. Sorry, sorry, dude.
Yeah, like, dude, watch this transition.
Yep.
It's just a fade.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, that's a bummer having to. Yeah, so some people
that
don't.
happens as you go.
Yes, but
You just have to figure it out.
yeah, you just kind of have to vet your way through. Like I was talking to a couple guys this weekend, and they were apparently in the studio all night the night before, and so I was like, all right, let me like try and relate. And I was like, what's up with the studio? Like, how'd it go? Like, what's up? They make like house and shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it was good. I just kind of like had a track that had a bunch of tracks in it, and then the other guy was like, yeah, I was just helping him like eliminate things and make it sound good. And I was like, oh, that's like the most generic
To
way.
make it sound good.
Like,
yeah.
That happened in 8 hours. That was all night. like, like
But I've been
anything.
You
Yeah,
know?
no, for
Like,
sure. And then
been in that spot. It's a great time.
right, and then later I'm like asking like how long, and they're like, oh, I've been producing for like 6 months, but like 2 months, like every day. I'm like,
Oh.
that gives
There we
much
go.
more
direction.
Yeah, like now, yeah,
Then
go.
it's like,
go
fuck
along,
yeah.
go grind, go
Get it.
grind.
Get after it.
I have nothing to say. Like anything I say is you're not gonna have any idea what I'm talking about. Like I want compression ratios, and like I want to talk about how
Would you like to
fucking-
talk about ADSR?
Yeah, like a bunch of nerdy shit. But they're like
I have to chime in
they're
too.
ways out.
One of my biggest things that annoys the fuck out of me too.
Whoa.
Is I'll always
Let's
offer.
go.
I'll offer people lessons. And
Yeah.
they're always
Peeve.
like, "Yeah, I want to do lessons," and they're like, "So okay, with all this being said, how do I get better?" And I'm just like, "Okay, you just have to do it." And they're like, "Oh,"
They're like, that's not the answer I wanted. Like,
I'm like,
give me the
and
secret.
they're like, "What's the like? How do you do it?" I'm like, "You just have to do it a lot."
You just do it a bunch
All
of
All
times.
that one
time.
plugin that makes
All the
everything
fucking
sound
time.
sick.
You have to
You're-
make
yeah.
1,000
And then
tracks.
and then people are like, "Oh, damn." Yeah, no, never mind. I'm just gonna stick to DJ.
Yeah, your ears. You can't
Sure,
fast
sure.
track your ears.
No, it's
They
like
don't
the gym.
fast track. You can. You just do it a lot. But like also,
That's as fast
there's
as
a
it goes.
time limit on that too.
Right.
You can't
It's
just
just-
do it all the time. Your ears will be worn out.
As fast as your ears
You're
can recover
permanent-
is as fast
Right.
as you can go.
permanent ear fatigue.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't do that.
Nope.
No, because you just continue making bad decisions once
Yeah.
your ears are fatigued. It's a bad. Don't do that, folks.
Which honestly,
take breaks, ear breaks.
I don't
Don't
know.
force it. Don't
I
force
mean,
it.
unless what you're doing is working on tricks and shit, you're doing sound design things.
Yeah, or
you're
goofing
doing
off,
blah, blah,
like
blah, whatever the fuck, anything that's not mixing.
file sorting.
Yeah.
You know, you can kind
Right.
of just do that forever and be
Yeah,
like,
just like make
low
drum
volume,
loops.
figure shit out, try and figure out how a
Yeah.
delay works, you know? That
I will-
kind of shit.
I will say that most of my knowledge of Ableton is self-taught. So I did
Same.
I spent
Let's go.
many years in
Hell
my
yeah.
parents' basement.
Yeah, in the
just
middle of the night,
That's how
just
it's
like
done.
Being like,
yeah.
being like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what's Corpus? Like, or
Yep.
fucking,
Let me experiment this.
what's a
with it for-
resonator? You know,
watching
Yeah.
all
YouTube
day.
video after YouTube video, just
Yeah.
like, oh, I gotta try that.
You just twist every knob, and you're like, "What does this do?"
Yeah, you're like, what does this
Oh,
do?
yeah.
Oh, that sounds fucked. I'm not doing that ever again.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you
Or then you come back to it a couple
later,
years
yeah.
later
And
and,
you're
you
like,
realize
whoa.
there was just a second knob you needed, and you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
there's that's what the find did. The find, oh, duh.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything starts fucking setting into place.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
like the
I can
other
do
thing
these
I
things.
encourage people. I'm like, the longer you stick with it, you will have a
Yeah.
full circle moment.
Yeah.
I have a full circle.
Constantly.
Con-
And then you'll be
Almost every day.
torn down.
yeah,
Yeah.
immediately
You'll
after.
be like, fuck, I'm so bad. And then you'll
Yeah.
be like, I am a god.
Yeah. Yep.
I make such
For
fire.
5
And then you
seconds.
just be like, oh, no, I'm so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Caleb
Never
always
ends.
makes this great analogy where it's like you're like climbing up a mountain basically, and you can see the peak, and you're getting closer and closer, and you're like, "Oh, I finally made it to the peak! Like I get it, I can see everything." And the second you get up there, you realize there's like a whole nother mountain that's like even taller and like
Right.
further back,
Yeah.
and you're
It's
like,
a
"Oh,
plateau.
Yeah, you're like,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Cool.
that is,
False
very-
summits.
False
that's a
summit.
very
They're called.
perfect-
Yeah.
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 yeah. I don't think you ever reached the summit.
No,
Does
no.
anyone ever reach
You
the summit?
kind of do though.
you think so?"
In your own mind.
You think
Yes.
so?
I think. Well, I mean, like, you get to a point where you understand things on enough of a level where you can kind of go like, yes, I will continue getting better and learning things, but I also just kind of I understand what that feels like, what
It's
it
all
looks
about
like.
it's all about the journey, man.
You're just there.
Right.
Let's go.
You're just there. You're just on
It's
the
the
path at
journey.
that point.
Right.
You don't need to fucking wait
It's-
for something to
it's-
happen.
it's-
You're
Nah.
already there. You're on it.
It's almost a perspective change.
Mhm.
You get to a point climbing that
Yeah.
mountain where you realize you're not climbing a mountain, you're just walking a road.
Which is fucked up.
Hey.
Which you touched on that. Ooh. Which I do.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
it deserves that.
I do have to touch on that though. Sometimes I catch myself feeling
Tripping.
like I'm waiting to get struck by lightning, you know, for like music or
Yeah.
drawing or
Well, yeah, you're out there on a mountain alone.
waiting to get struck by lightning. Waiting to get struck by lightning, dude.
Careful.
Just waiting.
Watch out.
You're not. You're just on the road, dude.
Yeah, you're not on
Waiting
a
for
mountain.
a bird to shit on me, you know?
Yeah, you don't have to be worried.
What do you
don't
mean
have to be
struck
worried.
by
Yeah,
lightning?
I
What do
am
you mean?
curious about that too.
Yeah, is that good or bad in this
So-
scenario?
Seems bad. Why? How is that good?
So
Maybe you get superpowers.
I mean, that's
I don't
pretty
know.
lucky,
it's not
dude.
it's not bad or good.
Statistically, it's
I'm-
really lucky.
I am describing it as a form of inspiration.
Oh, yeah,
so
sure.
to add on to what I was saying, I describe that as like getting inspired.
Yeah,
It's
like the muse just touches your balls and you're like,
Yeah, and you're like, oh!
And you just do a riff. Oh,
Exactly, which just happened to me 2 days ago after 3 months of a dry spell of not feeling that. So
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
oh,
yeah, it feels good,
Yeah.
baby.
life is depressing,
That was
but
some
that
serious
was sick.
energy
you
coming
know,
right
like,
Dude.
there.
dude, there's nothing like getting blue balled for months and then you write a bass riff and you're like, oh my god,
Dude.
it's coming together.
Yep,
like,
yep.
woo.
Dude, it's all in
It is
the
great.
showing up. You just show up every day
Yep.
and you just keep showing up every day.
Yep. And sometimes you don't show up, but you do show up for the most part.
Curse has said it.
Right.
Curse is not the first to say it, nor is he the millionth person to say it, but he said it good in his seminar, Black Box. You throw enough shit at the wall, something's gonna stick.
exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
You just have to keep doing it.
Yeah, and you figure out how to make it sticky after a while, you know?
Yeah.
Ah.
And then there's just all sticky
Yeah.
shit everywhere, and you're like, I don't know what to do with all this sticky shit.
Yeah.
Because you just have an arsenal of tunes, and you're like, well, what do I do with all this shit?
You just go play it.
I just have so much sticky shit on my wall, and it's all in the hard drive on my computer. Fuck, you know. So
Yeah.
that's
Print it
You
and go play it.
You go spew it across everybody. You just facialize.
And don't release it.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Cosby
You just
sweat.
play it.
I think the non. Yeah. Anyway, we could talk about that later.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. Do you guys want another one?
It's one of my
Alright.
favorite
Yeah, let's do
tangents
one
that's
more.
ever happened on the pod.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
What you got? What you got, Khalib?
This is a fake one.
No.
This
Fake.
this one's for laughs. Gina beats.
Nice.
Wow. Wow, dude.
Gina beats.
Vagina beats, like vagina.
I mean, I get the. Like,
I would have never
vagina. I
assumed.
just don't understand what
Because we were
you
talking
just-
about
Oh, okay. I see.
the width of your tracks.
You could you could show that.
Stereo field.
You could show that.
Yeah.
We could talk about that. It's a long time ago, right?
Yeah, it was quite a while ago. So the idea behind vagina beats
Yeah, I'll tell you something about
is if you have a
beats.
graph and the y-axis is your frequency spectrum. So the
Okay.
very bottom of my wrist here, folks, is 20 hertz, and the
Mm-hmm.
top is 20,000 hertz. Okay, 20K
Yeah,
kilo thousand, right? Okay.
sure.
On the x-axis,
Yeah.
that's the
Kilo
one
1,000.
that is parallel to the
Mm-hmm.
plane of the Earth as we
Flat Earth,
perceive it.
dude.
That's right.
As we perceive it.
That's right. No, it's fine.
It's flat.
We get horizontal, bro.
Horizontal. There we
We
go.
get
Thank
really
you.
horizontal.
Yeah. So
Horizontality, yeah.
The X is your stereo panning, basically,
Mm-hmm.
with center being in the middle at 50% and left and right, respectively,
Yes.
on there, left and right. And as you go from 20 hertz, it goes from mono to wide, and then at the top, it goes back to mono. And we had a whole long discussion
Yes.
about why you would want your high end, your very crispy top end, back to mono, and how it physicalizes the sound. Because anything that close to you, where you're going to perceive something that crispy, is close
Right.
and is equal in both sides. of
Mono
your ear.
kind of equals close.
Yeah, because it's the same sound in both ears,
Right.
kind of thing. Like if an explosion happens far away, off to your left, it feels far away and off to the left. If it happens close to you on your left, it's nearly just in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, it's so
Right.
loud that it is
It's
now
just
basically
everywhere. It is-
perceived
it's just
mono.
everywhere, yeah.
And that's an extreme example, but it's relatively the same.
Yeah.
It's a fun like
And-
angle to take.
Doing it in your tracks in terms of a mix perspective, like making sure
Club-wise.
0 to 90
Yep.
to 110, whatever, is mono. And then everything from about, I kind of do around 10 to 12K, I start rolling
Start
it towards
stereo.
mono.
Okay.
And then everything in between is stereo
Yeah.
to my discretion.
Yeah.
It's not always stereo. It's just that's where I'm allowed to have things wide as fuck
Right,
if I
right.
want them.
right.
And that makes a very physical sounding track, it seems.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, what
I
are your
would-
thoughts?
You think
I would
about
say-
these things.
I would say that I agree with that on degrees. So actually,
It's fun to think about,
so
I think.
it depends on the high end noise that I'm using.
Hmm.
Pretty much anything low end, except for what's funny. Neurodesign though is a lot of stereo fielding and
That's true.
layering. So a lot of bass is like your sub and everything is going to be mono because you're wanting
Yes.
that to be everything there. Same with drums. Like drums,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much most part. Well, I add a little bit of stereo to drums because
Yes.
having like a little bit, like the smallest amount of stereo does,
Right.
having that slight widening does
It'll give
kinda-
you some boom.
I like a decent
Puts
amount of
it in his
stereo on
face
my
a little
drums.
bit.
Yeah, it like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
opens up the drums to fill in the space to feel like a little more. But like too much, then you get like a hollow sound and whatever. But I do love stereoing hi-hats and like he was talking about with like crispy high end. I will go mono with certain noises, but then I'll usually do a call and response with another high end noise to stereo. So then it's mono stereo so that the track is kind of evolving
Yeah.
through the spectrum, basically.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And but that's at least how I go about it. That's really cool how you do a lot of high end in mono because I never thought about doing more things in mono. I guess I do chords, like anything like piano or anything that would be mono for me.
Yeah.
Unless I want like detuning and I wanted dissonance, then
Right.
stereoing.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, it's very song dependent
Totally.
and like sound dependent
Totally.
what's
Yeah.
happening. This is kind of just a general, like, at the end on my mix bus, I'll kind of have an EQ that's like rolling off the highs and the lows from the stereo.
yeah,
Fail
Yeah,
to
you might
make
like
sure
a
to kinda
shelf
squeeze it.
on the
Right.
on the side. signal.
Right. Just
Or
kind of
something like
kind of
that.
squish it in a
Kinda
little
push
bit.
it in a little
Right,
bit. yeah.
right. Just so it kind of has a little
Right.
more impact. It doesn't make anything necessarily more mono. It just makes things less stereo.
Right.
In those ranges.
Yeah.
I'm also a big proponent on parallel chaining everything. At least from anyone who uses Ableton, might understand is like.
It's the same as ours.
So
Sure.
I'm sure you do it in Bitwig also. 'Cause I
Yep.
know that's what you guys have been
Yep.
using. But I know in Ableton I'm a big fan of parallel chaining, so I love doing a stereo chain and a mono chain for certain things.
Totally.
So
Hmm.
I'm also a big
Nice,
proponent
yeah.
of that too.
Oh yeah, mid-side.
All day.
Mid-side, like what would you call it in Ableton?
Processing.
Yeah,
rack.
mid-side processing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mid-side, parallel,
However
whatever.
you people
There's a
make
mid-side container
mid-side
in Bitwig.
However,
However,
stuff
us
comes with it.
dinosaurs
Well, no,
that use Ableton.
It's funny. A way I process everything too is again like I do as needed. At least I feel like if a bass
Right.
I feel it wants stereo, because I feel like a lot of the design I do, the low end is a little bit stereoized for the effect of that. Like that fucking
Right, whatever's
Sure.
happening.
when you're in front of a nice rig and that bass just fucking is hitting you from every angle, But Resling actually gave me this tip because I did a lesson with
Let's
him last year.
Oh, nice.
That broke my brain so bad that I didn't make music for like 2 months because I was like, I'm gonna reprogram my brain to
You annihilated
like-
me, Resonant.
broke my fucking
What did he
brain.
say?
Oh, I
Let's
want to.
go.
I can't wait.
Oh, it was like a 4-hour-long lesson.
Oh, beautiful.
And it was like everything from like template design to how you set up your racks to how to do this. And then it was a bunch of other shit that I don't even own that I was just like out of my curiosity. I was like, what's that?
Give it to us in 10 words
Right.
or less. Now, go.
Well, what?
Well, I'm just kidding.
10 words less. LFO clusters Ableton is fucking insane.
Yeah. Oh, you did it. Wow.
LFO clusters. But anyways, what were you gonna say beforehand about your lesson with him?
A bit.
Oh, it just
He broke your brain.
Yeah, it broke my brain because the way he sets up everything in all of his chains is that everything has an EQ, utility, glue compressor, and then a couple other EQs, and then and it's
I love to
and
hear
it's,
it.
And it's in default in everything.
Yeah,
Mhm.
beautiful.
So like
I used to do that, but it's like a little CPU intensive to like load my rack or my whole project 'cause
actually-
it's just loaded with shit.
so it's actually not too bad because it's like 3 EQs, utility, glue compressor, and then just like in a group on.
And this
every
was on
chain.
my laptop. Now that I think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
I have a beefy, well, not a beefy computer, but like a desktop.
desktop?
So
Yeah,
like
same.
that's
Yeah.
can handle it.
the
where to go.
desktop. It does not sweat at
Right,
all.
Right.
Right.
Dude,
Especially if it's
I
like
just
stock
started doing that
EQs.
like a month ago. I'm on Resonant Lang's Patreon, and
Which is
he just
fire.
released
Let's go.
His racks on there are fucking
so much fun.
So much fun.
Yeah, dude, it's been blowing my mind. There's one I want to talk about so bad, but I'd feel like kind of weird,
Which,
like giving
shout
it
out. Shout out Pat. The glitch box rack is
The glitch box, dude, it's
that,
so good.
That one's by far the most fun.
Yeah,
Bro.
and just the concept of how it works, like I just
It's
like
just
is,
like
You
like,
would
opening
feel
my
bad
mind.
giving it out.
Yeah, because he said it's like a huge part of his sound design and the way he works. And I don't know. It's on his Patreon. Like people can go figure it out. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
Does he own it?
Plus,
He doesn't own it, but I would still feel bad.
Plus, any
All
rack.
right, tell me later.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Plus, that's like the thing with racks too.
I'll share it with you later.
Any racks that's like the beauty of racks that are from artists too, because like when they give you a rack, you just open the button, you can just dissect it, and you're literally
Right.
like,
what
oh,
do they actually
open
do?
the
Yeah, like what do they
button,
actually do, and then it loads
Yeah.
up everything, and you're like, oh fuck, well I can just do that myself and do something crazier,
Yeah.
and then that's the beauty of
Right,
getting racks
right,
from artists.
Are you a big Rax guy?
Yes,
Cool.
big racks. Guy.
Hell yeah.
I could never
Big
care
racks,
less
man.
about racks.
Dude, I'm getting into them lately.
I
They're a
build
lot of fun.
everything
I like-
from scratch
you know
every
what?
time.
I
but
like-
That's
don't
the thing
care.
though, but that's the
I
thing,
like
though.
racks.
but
Big racks. I like small racks.
But that's the thing.
I like
though.
all the racks.
But that's the thing though. All of my music is from scratch. It's just everything gets converted to racks after the fact, so I can save it later.
Right.
Yeah.
But most of the time though, everything I do, every single song I make is always
Right.
from scratch.
Yeah, it's
There's
just
Got a
usually-
Good.
boy.
So
Good.
there's
You wouldn't be a producer otherwise.
damn.
Whatever,
no,
dude.
no, we don't care.
Fucking bullshit.
But yeah, I like racks as more of a footprint than like as like an everyday tool, because I think a lot of people like using racks as tools, which granted they're tools, that is what they're for. But the way I like them is more of a footprint of where
Right,
I'm
right.
coming from.
It's
I
like
use-
an index card of your track.
I use it as like a progression system. So like if I made this one rack 6 months ago, comparative to one that's 6 months in the future to present day, I can usually go back and compare and be like, okay, if I want to do this on this type of bass differently, I have to do this instead. So it's a good I would say curriculum to set for my own self and
Right.
other people that are building racks to kind of it's a good way to look at your process as you evolve along.
That's cool.
It's like a library.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
with any DAW, it's kind of like you're kind of, unless you went to school and you're fucking music theory god, I feel like when you're using a DAW, it's kind of like you're just glimpsing of the big picture every time you use it. You may know a lot of the picture, but you're only like tapping into some of it. But the more the idea is cooler, you're tapping into the larger picture, I guess the larger feel of it all, which feels cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And
Shout out racks.
But racks are a good way to like track. Racks are a good way to track your progress because I have really bad short-term memory loss also. So like it's nice to be like, fuck, how did I make that one bass? And then I'll load up the rack, like
break it down again. You're like,
And I only have-
this little
and
thing.
I just pull up the project. If I need to like be like,
Right.
what's that sound? I'll just pull it up real quick. And with Bitwig, it's nice. It'll open a tab,
So-
and you don't even have to have the engine on. You can just go look
Sure.
at it and drag that channel into your now working project, and you're like,
So I'm
there's
actually
the sound.
going to use a John a restraint logic here.
okay,
He is all about efficiency. So the other reason racks, if you're only opening a project to look for one sound when you already had it saved, it's like just that much faster just
Right.
to have that sound loaded
Yeah.
and just know what you're looking
Sure.
for rather than like, okay, I'm going to stop the flow of what I was doing to go and open
but
a bunch of files. But again, that's subjective. you
right,
know?
but the also efficiency is I have to constantly be saving all these racks,
Right.
which takes time.
Yes.
Where if I don't save anything and I only need that one sound, that's faster than all the times having saved all those racks.
That's also another thing of production I think people don't get is I feel like most people who are getting into music think it's just writing. But
Right.
you get to a point, though, when you start writing so much music and you actually are doing something with this, you have to have, like, individual sessions for things, like...
Databases of shit.
Yeah, like, you should have, like, like, one day of, like, you're listening, comparing, mixing down, getting reference from, like, your favorite artists and stuff like that. There's another day where you're writing sound design, you're learning something you're learning, you're not writing or you're listening to something, you're just writing.
Yeah.
And then there's a day where you're writing all the creative flow. That's
Right.
that's the time that you're mixing the batch, you're cooking, your energy coming, you're dispersing that shit.
Let them cook.
And
Let
then
'em
there's
cook,
the
baby.
whole section of like performance. If you are a performance-based artist, that's a whole thing itself of like putting together a set list. What songs are gonna do this? Am I just winging it and I'm just gonna go and
Sure.
fucking play whatever sounds cool? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a lot of process. At least for me, it's like like I don't ever just do one thing. It's always one day of organizing, one day of writing, one day of it.
Totally.
I have it set up in my week because I work a very strenuous job. Like I work like 8-9 hours a day. So
What do you do?
I work in a car dealership.
Oh, shit.
So I work in a luxury car dealership.
Right.
It's like trade-in. So I deal with like Corvettes.
Yeah, a
fucking
bunch of
convertible-
fucking
bunch of rich
hot
pricks.
shit.
A lot of
Yeah.
rich pricks that have nice cars.
gross.
They're
That I'm sure are
Dude,
dirty
no,
as fuck.
I
Yep.
never
Yeah.
knew that they were pricks.
Weird.
Me neither.
What?
Until I started working there.
Weird.
Oh my god.
Hilarious. Yeah, that seems like a cunt.
But yeah, I do like windshields, paint cars, I
Right.
inspect cars, I quality control cars.
Detail.
Kind of. That's part that you make good money doing that, but
Yeah.
that's why I'm stay away because that's where the gross shit is.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But
Getting
yeah,
down and dirty with that.
but that job is a lot. So when I come home from work, I have to be like, if I'm working on a project, I have to be like, okay,
That's a grind to then be grinding on top
Yeah,
of.
It's also
Yeah.
very cerebral.
and I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Never stopped doing that. It's almost, I don't know. I don't recommend it. It's
Yeah.
not a lifestyle that I recommend to a lot of people.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling.
I've been doing construction and remodel for years, and I don't recommend it to anyone. So understand.
I recommend all this to everybody.
Well,
Fucking
this.
have a job and grind on your
Well,
fucking
yeah,
art.
yeah.
Yep.
Just go for it. Just keep on fucking getting
Yeah.
at it.
Don't think because
It's
you're
fine.
2 years in, you can quit your
It'll
day
be
job.
fine.
I think for me too, personally, I got lucky that it's something that I really fucking like. You know, no matter how shitty life.
You enjoy the job.
Yeah, well, not my day job. That fucking
Oh.
sucks.
the music.
yeah.
The music
like
grind.
the music.
The music grind.
Yeah, the grind is great.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I keep doing it. Because even when I
yeah.
don't do it, I feel like I'm fucking going crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
this is
know.
like one of the hardest
is
industries
life.
to get into. Like, if you don't love it, like if you don't live for the fucking act of creation,
Then fuck it. Yeah,
you're gonna
why?
get swallowed by
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, why
Yeah.
are you doing this?
Dude,
Like,
Yeah.
Which I've
It's
seen
fucking
happen
art.
to countless people.
Yeah,
so
dude.
many fucking people.
Yeah.
Eaten alive, and
Right.
Right.
especially in Denver, like the Denver DJ scene specifically.
It
not
is
even
disgusting,
involving
dude.
producers, dude.
It's so bad.
We're starting to
It's-
learn.
it's
Yeah, I knew
so
nothing
bad.
about it until
It's-
like a
dude,
year and a
it-
half ago
so-
or whatever.
So when I learned CDJs,
It's a cesspool.
it was like learning the performance CDJs, like, because obviously I'm never
Yeah.
gonna fucking afford a $9,000 mixing setup, professional
They're up
setup,
there,
mind
sure.
you.
Not never.
Not never.
Not never,
That's
but
ridiculous.
I understand
Not
your
never,
headspace.
but-
I understand your
One
headspace.
day,
like, but in the moment.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Been struggling for
but how
for
I
years.
learned was like 2018 through like 2020 era. Like all I did was
Oh,
you just go to after parties and just wait for your turn, and then everyone's wanting to play, and then other people are like, nah, you only play 140. I'm only playing 40. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna fuck it.
Ah.
Like, and I don't know if that. I've only grown up in Denver, so I don't want to say that's everywhere, but like in Denver specifically, if you're trying to learn CJs, or
That is a legit.
it's
That's
it's
a
a
legit way.
grind. Like you, even if you want to party or not, you got to show up and fucking do the thing.
Yeah, you have
know?
to be around cokeheads at
Jesus.
4.
Yeah,
I
it
feel even
fucking
more-
sucks.
That's the way it is.
And as much as I want to say that's how you should learn, that's how I learned.
But-
and also signing up for like my first. Another reason I love Keota. The first gig I ever played at your mom's house, like solo me, kind of.
You played at my mom's house, dude?
Dude,
With the dance floor? Oh my gosh. Shut up, guys.
I know, it's so funny.
So one of my friends who used to throw these warehouse parties, I was attending those a bunch,
Yo,
and then I
let's go.
showed him my music, and he was
Right.
like, "That's fucking sick. Let's put you on like,
Let's go.
I'll put you on a show."
Cool.
And he's like, "Do you know any CJs? You want to play this gig?" And no, and also no. Realistically, I should have said no, but I was like,
Beautiful.
yes."
Good
And
for
he's like,
you.
cool. And then immediately 5 minutes after I did that, started sweating, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, why I just sign up? I don't even have a USB." Like I had nothing. I
So-
was literally like, "Oh my god!"
How long ago was this?
This was in 2018 or 2019.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Did
I
you?
love
So
it.
did you just completely like train wreck it, or did you like
No,
out of
so-
a movie pull it
no,
off?
so at the time that was when I was doing lessons with Keota a lot.
Who has DDJ
Who-
400s?
Give it to me. I need this.
who I was doing lessons with, and ended up now we're just friends. Like it was
Right.
cool. It became from like student to now he's just one of my friends
Dude,
now, which is really cool.
Tom
Hell yeah.
is the shit. He's
Tom
so
is
cool.
fuck it, yeah.
He's so
I haven't
cool.
met him yet.
Shout out Tom.
I saw him once
Shout
at the
out
Black
Tom.
Box,
Keota.
and I was like, it feels weird to just be like, hey, what's up, dude?
No, he's so
I
cool.
love
No,
you, but-
he's also like he was
What-
talking about John earlier. Salt of the Earth. Tom is another.
I
One
can
of
see
the
that.
he's
first
another
things-
grain.
Oh,
I can see
yeah.
that.
He is yet another
Yeah.
grain of people that are like that. He's
That's cool.
the shit.
He
seems like a
he
goober.
said that he'll come
but
on the podcast.
which to back this up to add onto my story, I called him and was like, "Hey, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I know you've used CJs like 3 times. Do you want to help me play this set back to back with me?" And he was like, "Sure."
Oh, okay.
So he literally was just like, "Sure." So me and him back to back as like I don't know if we were direct support, like the third from the headliner, but we played like a full out house at your mom's house, and people were playing like Nintendo 64 on this projection thing while we were playing.
Sounds
Ended up
sick.
being-
What?
Ended up being a good time, and me and him, that was when we didn't know how to do shit on CJs. It was literally like play. Okay, this song's at this BPM, and then mix, and then we're like, okay, we have 3 minutes of freedom. Let's take a sip of water because we're both sweating, like fucking type shit.
That's cool. He had your back. He was
And
like, yeah,
then-
let's send it.
And then I had a full circle moment with him last October. We played. He played a secret set, but the last 20 minutes he had me come on, and we played on the most
Aw.
fucked like CJ
Oh,
setup.
dude, talk
It was
about
like-
Denver
it was-
fucking DJ
Yeah,
scene.
it was like
Yeah.
it was one of those. Have you guys seen the V10 mixers? You guys know what the fuck that is?
No idea.
It's literally the Nexus mixer, but on crack. There's
Oh.
6 channels. It's 6 channels.
Nice.
No, I haven't.
You can also eat.
Sounds
so,
great.
So there's effects on the Nexus, right? Well, imagine affecting only the low end, or only the mid range,
Right.
or only the
No-
high.
No, I know
And
that.
then-
I can
exists.
imagine.
Those
and
are
then,
the best.
and then you hit the high end in the effects. Oh, there's another effect over here. You can affect the mid on this other song coming. Like, dude, it's absolute steroids.
Fuck yes.
But me and
Sounds
him,
beautiful.
we mixed
Great.
on one of those. The 1J was like this, and another one right here. This one was to a channel over here, and this one was a channel right here.
Oh god.
Him and I just walked up. He was already in it. I walked up, plugged in, started playing. There was no issue, and it was like and we were doing
Yeah.
all kinds of shit. And I was just like, after it was all done, I was just like, wow, like we could have not done that when we first. I don't know. It was just like wow. Our first time back to backing, it was fucked, and then that time it was actually like
Yeah.
very cohesive, and it was super fun. So it was a full circle moment where it's like
beautiful.
wow. So yeah, that was
yes.
fucking hella goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
shout out Tom.
Shout out Tom.
He gave me the
Shout out
courage
Tom.
to use CDJs and to use them
Goddamn right.
to use them publicly.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a
After
big step.
Hook
Yeah.
John the fuck up.
Big
Gave
ups.
us fucking gnarly good lessons. The dude's a legend.
Yeah, Keota is a legend. I nowadays I think it's a little bit easier to start DJing
Yes.
because Pioneer just released their 100, or I guess 2 years ago released their $150 DDJ 200 or something. It's a little controller. You need a laptop, but if you do it with Rekordbox, it's the whole ecosystem that club standards use.
So
You know, there's some things
Right.
that are different, obviously, but you're going to get a little bit of practice. But again, you know, $150 plus a laptop, plus headphones, plus speakers.
That's
you know,
it.
there's still a buy-in.
Oh yeah. But you probably have a bunch of those things already.
I also
Right, if you're a
I'm not
producer.
gonna lie.
getting into it.
I also want to plug another person. His name is Roptra. It goes by Peter.
Shout out, Peter.
We threw shows under a label we had called Meat Yogurt with me and
Sick.
yeah, we did thing for a little bit and then a bunch of stuff went down, so we had to cancel it. But
Sounds
anyway,
about right.
one of the dudes that we had on Meat Yogurt on our comp, we put him on a black box show. Motherfucker showed up with a laptop and a mouse. That was it. He just clicked. He just point and clicked mix, and it was off the hook because the tunes were fucking crazy. But like,
Oh really?
so if you really are on balling on a budget, you can show up with a mouse and a keyboard.
mean,
and
sure.
no one will question you as long as you can know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
They'll question, but
right.
yeah.
And it depends
When
on
you
the
know
show.
what you're doing.
It
I
depends
mean,
on
is
the
it-
show.
Is it any
they're not
different
gonna
than
care.
is it any different than an Ableton set?
Well, it depends on the
Ugh,
show. If you're
no.
playing a house show and you're pointing and clicking, you're gonna get booed. Like you're not making you're not making it out. Like people are like, "What the fuck? You can't just click." Like you have to mix. It's house. Like it's not that
Right,
hard. You
right.
just beat sync and
You
then
can
hit
click
play.
mix though.
On what?
What do you
Ableton.
mean?
Clips view.
Sure.
Click
But
through.
that's why.
like,
But that's why.
things.
But that's what I was saying.
But
Is it any different than an Ableton mix? Because
Right.
granted they have like one of these set up and like they're plugging an interface into the mixer.
Right. There's a whole bunch of doodads and things you can do.
Like McMahon uses an APC, but like you don't.
Sure.
But realistically, you don't need the MIDI controllers, all that stuff when you're doing Ableton mix. It's just they do it because it's easier visually to. set
and you
everything
can
up.
use
you could
two
do
hands.
more things.
And you can do
That's
more things.
that's one of
you-
the things you have two hands.
Like
but,
you can set up like effects and all the
right.
parameters and stuff.
And you
Yeah.
can launch like a whole scene with one key as you're doing a white noise.
yeah,
effect
or
and the
like,
whole
or
thing.
yeah,
but,
you're hitting this and.
but overall, you're right.
But
It
to a
is
degree,
just
at least.
Yes,
to a
for
degree.
sure,
I
for
wouldn't
sure.
say like entirety of
Which
that
is
entire
why I don't
do Ableton
like.
mixes.
I used to think they were pretty cool,
Yeah,
and
I
I
thought
wanted
that
to
was
do
the
them.
best.
But my thing with them was like hitting that and then playing guitar as like another thing on top of it, because they're like the lead line in the song is a guitar, but in this live mix there's no guitar, obviously, because I'm gonna play it, you know, along
Right.
with it. So there's that whole vibe. But now, don't really give a fuck.
Right.
I'd rather just DJ on like the smallest gear possible and have the most ridiculous stage presence possible.
Exactly.
Like, and that's
I mean, dude,
that's all I care about.
I've seen Two Fingers play serves on like a
Oh.
tiny little tractor and
He's the
fucking
man.
and destroyed
yeah.
the
See,
room.
that's what I'm talking about.
You know,
That's
so
what I'm
like,
talking about. Beautiful.
because I argue that's like again a dilemma that I face. Like, where's the line of like this creative process is fucking jank, but they're annihilating the crowd to comparative to this process where they're doing this and that. You know, I feel like finding your shtick is a very crazy phenomenon in itself. On top of making music,
Yeah.
I've not
like
heard
finding-
anyone else say that.
you know, finding
Your shtick.
I say that all the
Shtick,
time.
you do,
Your
yeah,
shtick,
that's a
dude.
Caleb.
Gotta
Yeah.
find your stick.
It's a
Yeah.
Caleb.
We're
thing.
going-
It's the Caleb thing.
Yeah.
We're going
So-
full circle back to
I
the,
wish
the
you had
minimal
the-
maximal thing.
I wish you had the Eric
like in the
Andre
beginning.
punch. It's like the whoosh.
Yeah.
Dude, shout out Eric Andre.
do know.
Oh my god, that guy.
Yeah. Which I
Well, that brings us to an hour.
Oh, big time.
Fucking Caleb and Kayla, we did it. Look at this episode 101. Thanks for being here, dude. This was fucking. This was great.
Slomato.
I had so much fun.
Hey.
tomato,
Dude.
tomato.
Thank you so
The
much for
fuck
being
you
here.
doing
Thank you for having me,
here?
guys. It's a pleasure. It
I'm
was a
already
pleasure meeting
excited
all
to have you back.
Yeah, we need to have you on more.
By the way, I just walked in. I don't know these guys. I might get kidnapped.
Yes. Yeah.
True.
You never know.
Um,
No one knows where we live.
on that note,
we did put acid in the
where
beer.
can people find you
Where
on
can
the
you-
internet?
They can find me anywhere. Fun fact: I've never Googled myself. If you Google Slomato, the first result.
Yeah,
SL.
that a boy.
Fun fact:
Branding
you
on
have
point.
never Googled yourself.
Until recently.
There's no W.
Until recently.
Oh, okay. There, that
Okay,
was
no
a key.
W.
Slomato,
Yeah.
folks.
Very simple.
You can find them by Googling them.
You can find it on SoundCloud, I'm on Bandcamp, Spotify, everywhere.
Goddamn right.
All
iTunes,
the places.
all the things.